nonprofit servant leader profile, Wounded Warrior Project. Wounded Warrior Project focuses on helping injured military veterans with leadership principles established in service, empathy, and empowering others, which align with servant leadership principles. Although they may not explicitly call the approach servant leadership, their core values reflect many servant leadership principles, such as prioritizing the needs of others and community building. Empathy and compassion. They emphasize providing support with understanding and compassion for wounded warrior challenges. This embodies the servant leadership principle of empathy. Community and empowerment. They empower wounded veterans to exceed personally and encourage leadership development within the community. Both of these are principles of servant leadership. Healing and support. Serving others is at the core of servant development, servant leadership, and it is at the core of the Wounded Warrior Project. Their programs are designed to serve the needs of wounded veterans first, helping them heal physically, mentally, and emotionally. The Wounded Warrior Project runs their programs with servant leadership principles. Although there are no case studies to show this directly, the positive impacts of this nonprofit can be seen in individuals who took advantage of the programs Wounded Warrior Project runs. Wounded Warrior Project is empowerment. The Independence Program is designed to provide long-term support for wounded warriors. It is designed for the most wounded of warriors who need caregivers, but empowers the member to live their life to their fullest. Soldier Ride is an event that is built around each rider and their ability levels. It can provide adaptive equipment for a person's specific needs. And although the rider doesn't ride alone, they are empowered to learn their equipment, learn about their fellow riders, and most important, empowering them to feel like they are part of a community of riders. Wounded Warrior Project is empathy. Wounded Warrior Project provides both mental health support and benefits services rooted in empathy. Mental health services are pretty self-explanatory, but the benefits services are provided to veterans who are struggling to figure out the way through the red tape of VA disability claims. VA disability can be extremely convoluted and denials are common. Empathy is central to the Wounded Warrior Program volunteers and employees, providing help with both of these types of sensitive needs. Wounded Warrior Project is community building. Lastly, community building is at the core of the Wounded Warrior Project, building communities of veterans across the U.S. Both the peer support and Warrior Care Network are centered around creating these communities of people who are veterans with like challenges. The camaraderie military members feel is strong, so these programs are directly bringing those members together. All of these programs are free to the veteran. This program has been around since 2003 and has over 270,000 members. It is an amazing nonprofit and one that I am proud of and volunteer for. I work at Tyson Foods, and I had heard former Arkansas governor once say, you hire someone because of their skills, but if they don't do the job, you fire them. Then you hire someone else. He was talking about how even with servant leadership as the guiding light of business, not everyone is a good fit for the job. I personally find that I employed the principles of servant leadership a lot more in the military than I do now as a civilian. And in this course and reading through Greenleaf, I realized that the need for these principles is just as important out here. No people around me aren't tasked to save my life. They're not my battle buddies, but everyone deserves to have their well-being and their future be on be an important part of their career. The principles I see at Tyson are good, but there are some that they need to be more intentional about. I have seen listening, awareness, and commitment to the employee growth. They need to work a little more on persuasion and foresight. So, listening, per Greenleaf, is what helps to build strength in people. I have found that at Tyson Foods, leaders do listen. They listen to truly hear, not just to answer the question. I don't always get the answer I want, but they do listen. And it helps me feel important at the time that my ideas or fears or thoughts are valid and are worth listening to. As Greenleaf explains, the loss of awareness of a situation can lead to very much of a that's how it is mentality. I appreciate how the leadership at Tyson Foods is aware of what is happening and they are receptive to feedback on situations. Often that feedback is used to address the situation as well. Then there's also the commitment to employee growth. Sinek talks about how a person who experiences growth then becomes more motivated. That is something I see over and over. The opportunities for us to grow and learn within Tyson Foods motivates us to do more, to be more, and to learn more, all of which is supported by my leadership. Things that they're lacking on, persuasion, and despite their best intentions, they are still a very hierarchical, profit-driven machine. Although the people inside are generally well treated, persuasion is kind of second to power. It isn't a do what I say or else environment, but is often just a do it environment. Maybe there isn't always the perception of time to persuade, or maybe that isn't how the leadership is taught to be, but I think a little persuasion over power would go a long way from the top down. But I do see a lot of persuasion up the ladder. Greenleaf does reference how servants can display persuasion up. Lastly would be foresight. Greenleaf describes foresight as the lead of a leader possesses. Being able to see what is coming for individuals will help to guide their growth. I find it interesting how many of our leaders have awareness of a situation right now but cannot see what's coming. I do know that if it can be taught, I do believe that if Tyson Foods could layer in a little more foresight to the awareness they have, their employees, including me, would flourish even more. Thank you.